EPAWA meteorologist Bobby Marchich here with your outlook for March 20th, 2019. Spring will arrive at 5:58 p.m. this evening. Prior to that, we will have our last winter sunrise of this 2018-2019 winter. We're finally going to say goodbye to winter, but we are going to have some ups and downs where in this next week or so. Winter's not going to want to let go, and spring's going to try to come in and take over at the same time. So kind of a transition week expected this week. Some big changes happening just in the last 24 to 36 hours, just in the forecast evolution of a trailing piece of energy that is not this system that we were talking about staying 800 miles southeast of the region. This distance from this system to here is about 800 miles, and that is staying far southeast. So this system is the one that's missing. This is the shortwave that we said would stay to the south and was not going to hit us. Now, the models were not picking up on a trailing piece of energy, an upper-level piece of energy that's coming in like this, okay? And it was not keying in on that little piece of energy. This is actually going to develop very rapidly as it moves off to the north and east and pretty much bombs out as it heads up in this direction like this. But this energy right here was not modeled up until about 48 hours ago. Then all of a sudden it started showing, oh, well, there's going to be a little system out here somewhere. And then it kept going. Yesterday we did the video and it was over here, and it kept coming closer and closer. Well, as it turns out, this is now going to develop like this and track right over Philadelphia, and then end up like doing one of these numbers like this. So that means that we're not just going to get a graze from this system like originally thought in a frontal boundary. Here's the frontal boundary, by the way. It's back here. Okay, so the frontal boundary and the associated low pressure is sitting back here like this. This secondary piece of energy that is going to develop somewhere around the Carolinas, right in here, is going to produce rain across our area from late tonight into through most of the day here on Thursday, and then wrapping up on Thursday evening. So it could be some decent amounts of rain out of this as it moves north and east. So here's that little system developing right here. The main system was out here, did miss. This is the one that's developing ahead of this cold front moving eastward. And you can see it just rapidly comes from basically nothing, and it just blows up and turns into this rainstorm, and it's going to bring a decent amount of rain to the parts of the area during the day here on Thursday as it lifts off to the north. You see it developing a surface low and tracks just over northeastern Maryland, and the next frame tracks right over Philadelphia. Might get a little dry slot in here in part eastern section, so across Delaware and South Jersey, central New Jersey might not get as much out of this, and it might just be more in the interior, where we thought yesterday was just going to be these areas right in here. Well, now it's these areas all the way back here. They're going to get into some heavier rainfall. When I say heavy, potential for greater than an inch. I don't want to go crazy with these amounts here because it is still a quick mover. It doesn't look like it's going to hang around too long as we get into, this is about midnight on Thursday night. You see it's pulling away up into New England. This is a rain system, not a snow system. Okay, I know the NAM high res that I'm going to show you in a minute is going to show you some snow at the very tail end. Possible we have some mixing and some wet snow changeover at the very end, but it's not going to amount to much of anything at all. But this is primarily a rain system from start to finish for most areas. And then it's going to, as the system exits, once we get into Friday afternoon, or Friday, this is Friday during the day, you see the very tight isobars in the wake of this system as it really wraps up over up here in the Gulf of Maine. So the tight isobars indicate very breezy conditions, very windy conditions that are going to come in here during the day here on Friday and last right into Saturday morning at a minimum. Might even have some few snow showers flying up here in north central and northeast PA. I think elsewhere you're probably too warm. Might see a few flakes, but they're not going to do anything. If they do mix all the way down to like I-78, Harrisburg, Lehigh Valley, northern New Jersey, I could see a few flakes getting down to that region. But temperatures will be sufficiently above freezing, so we're not dealing with any accumulations of pretty much anywhere of this. So any kind of snow mentions that are going to come out of this, they're not going to be what the models are indicating they're going to be, in other words. Okay, so this is going to be primarily a rainstorm. Might end as a few wet snowflakes mixing at the tail end. I wouldn't be surprised if some of the higher peaks up here in the Poconos get a quick dusting, crop dusting out of this at the very tail end of it. But that's it. The biggest thing is going to be the rain, and then for the wind it's going to follow. Here's a look at the NAM high-res future simulator radar starting us off at midnight tonight. So you have some increase in clouds that's going to take place late in the afternoon and during the evening hours. And you have this just showers at first because that's, again, the system didn't really develop yet. And it's just starting to develop. And it presses off to the north in the overnight. So just some showery stuff after midnight for the most areas. This is looking at 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m. We start getting a little more concentrated once we get to tomorrow morning. Here's 8 o'clock in the morning. Okay, here's 11. You can see some heavier snow. Ignore this up here. This is falling in the form of rain, not snow. Okay, and then you get some heavier rain. And it looks like it's supposed to concentrate out here in these areas towards central Pennsylvania. This has been a new change. And you see the eastern areas are getting dry slotted. That is a very probable thing when you have a developing system like this that's rapidly developing and it's not fully matured. You'll have the heaviest rain that comes through early, and then around the eastern side you get a little dry air wedge coming in here in the middle. And so I do expect some areas to the east will have less rain than areas out here in the interior. When I say interior, I'm talking about northwest of I-95. Again, showing some snow mixing in here at the end. I think this is probably a little bit premature here at 5 p.m. Once we get into the evening, though, I could see a few wet flakes in the far northern parts of Pennsylvania, northeast PA, maybe the Poconos. You might get a quick dusting out of this. That's the upside potential of that, but then that moves away overnight and the rain comes to an end before midnight on Thursday night. Okay, in terms of total rainfall, again, highest areas of concentration of the heavy rainfall is out here in central PA. These are the inch to inch and a half totals out in here. And then when you go further east, this area right here is maybe about an inch or maybe just a little bit over in these areas. Further south and east down in these areas, you are under an inch, but probably about 3/4 of an inch to an inch or thereabout of rain. So your highest concentration is going to be out here. Okay, that's what the way it's looking. Everything's trending in that direction for the heaviest rain. We will send my pocket meteorologist alerts today for those affected, and that will be on a county-by-county basis, and that's for just rainfall. We're not looking at snow out of this, except for a few flakes mixing in the far northern areas or the Poconos at the tail end. That's all we're looking at here. As we go forward from this point, again, very tight grading. Go right into Friday night, especially Friday night. Friday night, I think, will be the windiest time frame into early Saturday morning. That's shown here. And then once we get past Saturday morning, the isobars start widening a little bit. High pressure starts moving in. We are going to turn partly cloudy and still remain windy here on Saturday, but it's going to favor the morning for those winds as a continuation of what happened late Friday or Friday afternoon through the overnight. So to continue into Saturday morning and then it'll still be windy, and then they're going to die off pretty dramatically. And then we get to Sunday, we're mostly sunny. Sunday actually will be very much warmer because we have high pressure now sitting off the eastern seaboard, and this means we're going to get the heat. This is a heat pump high. This is summertime. This would be a heat wave type high in this position. But we're going to get winds here out of the southwest, and temperatures are going to be making it run at 60 degrees or better here on Sunday. And still warm here on Monday ahead of our next system. This is going to be a frontal boundary coming in, bringing some showers to the region, it looks like. Here's those showers moving in. Oh, we'll jump ahead here. These are rain showers. It is going to be well into the 50s here for highs here on Monday, so we're not talking about snow here. I know some models are hinting at something here with snow. Just ignore it. This is actually showing, it's doing that because it's showing the temperatures behind the front, but showing the precipitation ahead of the front at the same time and trying to combine the two. This is falling as rain ahead of the front. Once the front moves through, we're dry, but temperatures drop. That's why it's trying to do that snow type thing here with that frontal boundary. But it just looks like a frontal boundary moving through. And once it moves through on Tuesday, we are back to partly cloudy skies and cooler temperatures. But actually, much cooler. Temperatures are going to be back into the 40s again for highs. So we're going to have this up and down stuff this week. I think after that, then it moderates again. So we're going to have the up and down stuff this week where it doesn't really know what it's going to do, whether it wants to be spring or it wants to be winter, and it's going to be trying to hang on to both. But even the winter side of temperatures below average are still talking about 40s. We're not talking about 20s and snow. So there's a big difference based on relative to the time of year. So a lot of things out there right now about, hey, we're getting snow next week, or hey, we're getting snow tonight, tomorrow. Not really prudent to follow that kind of information. I know we had this rain system coming in here overnight here, but like I said, we've said in previous videos, if this did wind up venturing a little bit further west and hitting us, it would be in the form of rain and not snow, and that is primarily what is going to be happening with this one, except for those very, very high peaks here in the Poconos and very far northern Pennsylvania, maybe like Wyoming County, places like that up here in north central Pennsylvania. Other than that, that's just a little crop dusting at the end anyway, and that's not even guaranteed. So most of this is a rain system. from this, and we aren't expecting much of anything at all for next week at this time. I'm EPAWA meteorologist Bobby Marters. That is your outlook for March 20th, 2019. Have a great Wednesday.